We hear it so much that it feels like a buzzword, but it is far from it. Climate change is a real and serious issue. But isn't the climate always changing? What exactly is climate change, and why should we care? Well, the Earth's climate has changed throughout history. Most of these slight changes are caused by small variations in the Earth's orbit. But climate change as we know it today is characterized by an abrupt increase in the Earth's temperature. It is estimated to have gotten 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit warmer in just the last century. 10 out of the last 13 years were the warmest on record. 97% of climate scientists agree that this new tendency is not caused by the variations of the Earth's orbit, but rather very likely caused by human activities. That means you and me.
When you talk about foreign policy, as important an issue as any is the issue of climate change. If you talk to the CIA and if you talk to the Department of Defense, and I have, what they will tell you is that one of the great security issues facing this planet is the fact that as we see more and more drought, as poor people around the world are unable to grow the food they need to survive, you're going to see migrations of people and international climate. And I happen to believe that when you talk about foreign policy, at the very top of the list is the need for the United States to lead the world, to work with China, work with Russia, work with India in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuels and into energy efficiency and sustainable energy. This is not just a quote-unquote environmental issue. This is also a global national security issue as well. It is an international crisis, and I have to tell you, without being overtly political here, it is an embarrassment to me that we have a major political party called the Republican Party, which with few exceptions refuses to even recognize the reality of climate change, let alone is prepared to do anything about it. That is an embarrassment, that you have a major party refusing to listen to science.
Do you believe we need to price carbon?
Yes.
Would you do it through a carbon tax or cap and trade?
Carbon tax. It's the simple and direct way to do it. And I've introduced legislation with Senator Boxer to do just that. Look, we have got to come up and answer a simple question. Are the scientists right or are they wrong? If they are right, they are telling us that the planet Earth will be 5 to 10 degrees warmer by the end of this century, Fahrenheit. That will cause cataclysmic changes in terms of drought, extreme weather disturbances, rising sea levels, acidification of the ocean, international conflict. If they are right, I believe they are right, we have got to move in a very, very bold way. We have to do it yesterday.
During the Industrial Revolution, our energy consumption has gone up. Most of this energy comes from fossil fuels like coal, natural gas, and oil. The prices for fossil fuels have gone up, causing the businesses to put in more money for expensive methods like fracking to provide humans with fossil fuels. It's unimaginable that a whole country could go out of existence because of human-induced climate change. Climate change will impact on people and the impact on their rights to food and safe water, health, education, and shelter. The average U.S. citizen emits about 17.5 metric tons of CO2. We face an existential threat to the future of our planet. This threat makes us realize that climate change is the greatest threat to humanity in the 21st century. The Earth is gradually getting warmer, and storms will grow more intense with longer periods of drought in between. Rising sea levels is caused by two factors related to global warming: the added water from melting land ice and the expansion of seawater as it warms.
Each one of these climate summits have failed miserably, and for the first time the world community is taking it seriously. The big question is, are we too late? That's been the pondering question for everyone. I know we should all remain optimistic, and I want to remain optimistic.
But you are worried that we are too late, that somehow we've done so much damage we can
That's
never...
in somebody else. The answer to that is in somebody else's hands, but we do know that the scientific community has been screaming out loud for decades, and other interests have stifled their voice and manipulated this conversation, and it's a real shame. But one thing I'm proud of, that for the first time, we've seen the world community take this issue seriously. And if they hadn't, there would be absolutely no hope. We can't wait another 4 years for people to start to listen to 99% of the scientific community. I mean, it's an absurdity, and it's not about the individual anymore. It's about we. It's about we as a species, as a world community, finally coming together to make some sort of progress forward. Whether we're too late or not remains to be seen, but you know, I'm just very happy as an environmentalist to see something happen in the right direction. It's very important. You know, like I said, simultaneously I was doing a documentary about climate change, and I hope to have it released next year. But I mean, look, we could talk about this till we're blue in the face. It is the most existential human crisis that the world has ever known, in my opinion. I think that it is the biggest problem that mankind has ever had to face. We're not talking about something that is going to change in a decade or not.
And as many have said, a threat to our national security.
Yeah, and it's going to change. It's something that will quite possibly change this planet for tens of thousands, if not millions of years. And you know, we're all at this point hoping for some sort of miracle.
Future generation will say, "Why didn't you do more?"
Absolutely.
Climate change, as we know it today, is change in our Earth's overall temperature with massive and permanent ramifications. Although its consequences can be planet-threatening, scientists still believe there are things we can do on a personal level to help. Recycle and reuse things. Walk or use public transportation to get to work. Turn off your electronics when you're not using them. Eat less meat. While you're at it, eat more locally grown vegetables and foods. And last but not least, spread your knowledge and concerns about climate change with others. When it comes to climate change, the main takeaway is that it's real. And although we are part of the cause, we can also be part of the solution.